Good morning, everybody. Cassandra Von Worsley with you here. So, I am actually doing an FB Live on my personal page to test out my new iPhone. I got the new iPhone, and so I want to see the quality of it, which honestly, the quality of the new iPhone is pretty freaking amazing. So, super glad. And it's one morning, rarely when I'm not doing a 3 hour workout and sweating like crazy. So, yeah, you'll never see me on FB Live sweating like crazy. So while I'm doing some other things, I wanted to come on and talk about something. I don't know if we think about this more in October, November, and December. I don't know if we don't think about it till January 1st when New Year's resolutions come around. But I wanted to put this little message out there, A, because it has been a huge lesson for me this year, and B, because I think January 1st is just not the right time to decide to get this lesson. Like, why don't we get this lesson in October, which is what we're in right now? And so the lesson is really simple. Stop procrastinating. The big moves are not as big as you think they are. And let me give you a prime example. I am in the midst of, I don't even know if there's a nice way to say this, audible recording hell. I'm in the midst of audible recording hell. And it's not that I don't like to record audios. I love doing my podcast. She runs the show. But I will tell you, I have written, I think, 27 or 28 books. And I procrastinated getting my 26 or 27 books on Audible for I don't know how many years I've been writing books at this point. It's been at least 10 years. But the 26 or 27 books that I have written, that I've published, that are all on Amazon at overcomingfearbooks.com, I have procrastinated putting them on Audible for years. And so this is the first year where I'm actually doing the damn work of getting these books on Audible. And as I go through Audible hell, as I spend every single day recording the Audible version of over 25 books, as I am doing them, I am saying to myself, why the hell did you not do this sooner? Like, why did you wait until you had 27 books published before you actually decided to do the Audibles? And here's where the lesson comes in. I think so often we procrastinate on making what at the time feels like a big move. At the time when I had written all 27 or so books, trying to get them on Audible felt super huge to me. It felt like this big thing that, the bigger authors do. It felt, Audible just felt like this big thing. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what settings to use, what software to use. Now that I'm actually in Audible hell, recording day after day after day, recording books that I wrote years ago and going, why didn't I do this sooner? What I'm realizing is that the big moves in life and business, the big moves, meaning the things that at the time they are new to us, we don't know how to do them. We don't know many people who've done them, or we know a lot of people who've done them, but we just ask the question, can I do it? The big moves, once you actually start doing them, are not as big as they seem at the onset. And I wish I would have told myself years ago, as I was writing book number 2, 3, or 4, like, just figure out how to do Audible, figure it out. And once you start doing it enough, it will become super easy. And honestly, I'm in Audible hell, not because it's hard. And it is a big move to get your books from ebook to paperback to Audible. So it is a big move, but it's not a hard move. And it really was me just getting over the procrastination and making excuses about, well, I need a quiet enough space and I need to move and I need to do all these things. Well, I did all those things and then still wasn't doing the Audible. And now that I'm actually doing my books and putting them on Audible back to back, here's the lesson that I'm getting. Stop procrastinating. The big moves are not as big as you think they are. And I mean any big move. I mean, we procrastinate about big moves like losing weight or changing careers or looking for a new job or starting a business. I can't tell you the number of people who've wanted to start a business for a decade and haven't because they're afraid of the big move. Here's what I know. The moment you get out of the mindset that says, it's too big for me to think about starting, and you just actually start. You don't worry about the next 50 steps. You worry about the next 3. I'm huge on the next 3 steps. The moment you do that, you literally change the game because you get out of the mindset of, how am I going to do this? And you get into the mindset of, I'm just doing the damn thing. Like, I'm just doing it. And so my big epiphany with Audible and Audible hell, as I call it, because I'm now recording all these audios every single day. And as much as I love to record audios, I hate the idea of having to record audios for 27 books that I've written. The biggest lesson I've gotten from Audible hell is stop procrastinating. The big moves are not as big as you think they are. They're just not. They are, when you actually start doing the work, you start to realize, wow, it really wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. You make it bigger in your head before you actually go on the journey than it turns out being throughout the entire journey. So if there's anything that I've learned from Audible hell, I can tell you, it's you just got to do the damn thing. You like, just don't talk about it anymore. Don't debate about it anymore. And here's the final point that I want to make on this. It's not even that you want to stop procrastinating and get into action. It's that you want to stop procrastinating and actually make big moves. And when I say big moves, I mean way bigger than what you're thinking about right now. You know, some people start out and they go, well, I want to freelance and then I want to start a business. No, why don't you just start the damn business? Like, why don't you make a really big move? Because here's the thing. Little moves and big moves at the end of the day actually require about the same number of hours, the same amount of energy, and the same level of commitment. So if you're going to commit to little moves, but you're going to spend the same amount of time, you're going to spend pretty much the same amount of effort getting up the learning curve on the little move. You're going to say, hey, Linda, yeah, my hair. Don't you love Linda? That's why I went to Vegas last week and got my hair done. Now I can be on camera again. I don't look like a hot mess. But once you realize that the little moves actually require the same amount of investment. I mean, just think about it. Part-time job versus building a part-time business. Well, you know what? You're going to spend the same amount of energy applying for a part-time job. You're going to spend the same amount of energy putting a resume together to get a part-time job. You're going to spend the same amount of energy submitting resumes and cover letters. You're going to spend the same amount of time and energy doing a little move, like going for a part-time job, as you will deciding to do a big move and building a part-time business. And yet so many people go for the little move thinking that it's going to take less time. And then a year later, they're still looking for that part-time job when they could have actually in a year built a pretty decent part-time business. So what am I saying at the end of the day? There's two parts to this lesson. The first one is stop procrastinating. Stop, like whatever you know needs to be done, even though you don't know how to do it, figure it out. Just get into the action of doing it. Forget about the to-do list, your next 3 steps. Keep it simple. Even your next step, your next step. Second piece to this, the big moves aren't as big as you think they are. I know they feel big when you're doing them. Like putting my books on Audible felt really huge before I actually started doing this Audible health thing. Now it doesn't feel like a big thing at all. Now it feels like, you know, look, I did the first Audible book. They sent back all of these revisions. I was kind of pissed that I had to redo everything because I didn't know how to do it. But by the third book, I figured out exactly what they needed. So now the thing that I thought was huge is actually very small in the grand scheme of things because I just decided to go ahead and do it. I stopped procrastinating. So stop procrastinating is part A, but part B to me, which is almost bigger than the stop procrastinating, because you could stop procrastinating and still be making little moves and still making little movement. The bigger piece of this is the big moves aren't as big as you think they are. They're big before you actually do them. And then when you do the big moves, they're actually not that big. The results are massive, but the work and the energy and the commitment and the focus that it takes is the same as the little move. So why would you ever do a little move when you could do a massive move for the same amount of time, energy, and get a super big return on your investment? That's what I wanted to say as I try out this new iPhone, which I absolutely love. The camera is so much better than the iPhone 7. This iPhone 11 Pro Max, I think is what it is. Thank you guys for joining me. I don't know when I'll do an FB Live next because I usually work out at this hour. So it was good chatting with you. Please share this with somebody you know. Thanks.